we're going to finish up here with this lesson on multiplying and dividing radical expressions. So these last two examples here with example 4, they are wanting you to simplify each quotient, meaning we're working with division. For A, we have the square root of 13 divided by the square root of 5. When we're working with simplifying quotients, we need to multiply a form of 1 to get a perfect square radical in the denominator. So what that means is we need the square root of 5 to become a whole number. And in order to do that, we're going to multiply the square root of 5 to the denominator, but then we're also going to multiply it by the numerator as well. So what you do is you take the denominator square root value and you multiply it to the numerator and denominator. And then what you're going to do is simplify the square root in the denominator. So what we do here is we do the square root of 13 times the square root of 5, which gives you the square root of 65. The square root of 5 times the square root of 5 gives me the square root of 25. We simplified that out, so then what we're going to do is we're going to break that apart. We cannot take the square root of 65 to get a whole number, so we leave that under the radical sign. Over square root of 25 gives you a whole number, which is 5. So we've simplified that to get a value of square root of 65 over 5. Looking at B here, we have the square root of 2 times the square root of 80 over the square root of 7. So again, we need to make our denominator become a whole number value. So we're going to multiply both the denominator by the square root of 7 and the numerator by the square root of 7. So what I get here is we take square root of 80 times the square root of 7 to get the square root of 560. You don't multiply the 2 outside of the square root sign here in the numerator by square root of 7, just what's in the radical sign. So for the numerator, we get 2 times the square root of 560. For the denominator, square root of 7 times the square root of 7 gives me square root of 49, which simplifies to 7 here. So then what we're going to do is factor and simplify the square root for our numerator. So this 560 can be broken down. When you factor that out, choose at least one perfect square number. So 16 times 35 gives me 560. So we have 2 times the square root of 16 times 35 over 7. Then we're going to simplify that down further. The square root of 16 gives me 4. So what you have outside the parentheses here is 2 times 4 times the square root of 35 over 7. Then you simplify it further. 2 times 4 gives me 8 times the square root of 35 over 7. And this would be my final answer for B.